Hey guys, so this is another one of those impromptu handheld on the phone. It's going to be shaky. It's going to be rambling. It might be a little incoherent. I did not intend or plan to do this video, but here it is because there's something that happened that I actually have some credibility, a little bit to talk on. And I've been asked about it, and I've actually tried to stay out of this one, but it keeps coming up. I'm currently at a birthday event at a place called Kalahari in Pennsylvania. It's like a indoor water park resort place. It's actually really cool. I'm taking a break and enjoying a very overpriced beverage, but this has come up quite a bit because of my military career and what I've done and my job, and people keep asking me my thoughts on this Pat 2-1 CJR collision. And there's a lot of crap going on the internet with people saying, because of this, blame this, blame that. And frankly, it's pissed me off. It's really pissed me off. As a guy whose job it was, I've never been an air traffic controller. I've never held an FAA air traffic control certification because that's a whole different animal. But in a sense, what I have done, there's an overlap of what we did, and I'm going to explain that in this. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'll explain it. And what air traffic controllers do. So I'm qualified to talk a little bit about. I can't tell you what caused it, but I can sure as hell tell you what didn't. I'll tell you what didn't. And I'm not. Listen, politically, I'm so upset with the two-party system in this country. It's never what it was intended. I am not a fan of Donald Trump. I am not a fan of Joe Biden. I am a fan of the people electing representatives who serve the people, not their own interest, okay? So I don't have a horse in this race. I can tell you that this was not caused by anything that Joe Biden did. It was not caused by anything Donald Trump did. It was not caused by anything related to the world of DEI. It was not caused by Elon Musk whether Elon Musk had influence over the director of the FAA stepping down or not. That had nothing to do with this. And I'm going to explain to you why that's not true and not valid. But those are just ridiculous accusations and assumptions that cannot possibly have had anything to do with this Pat 2-1 CJR thing. So let me back up a little bit. So, those of you who have been with this channel for a while, I'm trying to find a way to put this phone so it's like steady and not shaky in my hand. You know a little bit about military background. I joined the Army to be a cavalry scout. Due to the Army's needs, I ended up a combat medic. I did that for 8 years until I joined the Air Force because I met PJs and I said I want to be a PJ. And then I ended up, because of a broken leg, doing tactical air control and close air support. My career field is a really weird career field because we evolved out of the guys. If you know what ground controlled intercept is, in the 50s, they were the guys, and they evolved out of stuff from World War II. They were the guys who would direct, and I mean direct by telling the pilot exactly what direction to fly, what altitude to go to, what heading to fly on, to intercept an enemy bomber or fighter. Sometimes fire your weapon now. We evolved from that into something much, much more. Sometimes we're still called GCI, but it's evolved a lot away from that. And in the 20 plus years, let's call it 30 plus years since Operation Desert Storm, our career field has evolved to do much, much more because we had to. We had to rewrite the books as we went. And so there's AWACS, the E3 Sentry. I'm sorry I can't insert pictures and other clips in this video right now. The AWACS is a platform that is very capable, and they show up when there's no other no other tactical command and control asset in theater. AWACS can't stay on station forever. AWACS is a very old platform. AWACS breaks all the time and has to go home. AWACS, if their autopilot doesn't work, that's considered a mission critical item, and they can't do the job. They have to go home. AWACS breaks all the time, and there's a limited number of them. My job, my career field, our guys do everything from manning remote radar stations to the guys in NORAD. Like if you've seen War Games, that's my career field. To the guys that work in a unit called the Control and Reporting Center that actually assumes tactical control of combat airspace and directing every combat asset, to the guys in the Air Support Operations Center. We have those dudes that only do close air support, direct and close air support. There's different shred outs and there's different elements of the job. Some people in my career field, all they do is they track aircraft and they identify them so people know where they're going. My job was to be an actual controller. I'm the guy on the radio telling a pilot, turn this thing into a smoking pile of wreckage. Turn this thing on the ground into nothing but bloody hair, teeth, and eyeballs. And throughout our protracted war, from the end of Operation Desert Storm, Northern Watch, Southern Watch, I wasn't in that yet. I was still in the Army when that was going on. I joined in 96. But our career field has had to learn through Afghanistan and Iraq to do a lot of things that air traffic control does, because while we are directing our assets in combat, we're also managing the airspace all around them. So we had to, like I said, write the book as we went. And we learned how to do a lot of this airspace control, airspace management that we previously did not have to do. And we did it for 20 years straight. And I have to say we got pretty good at it, because we did not have a single, and I'm not disparaging anybody else, we did not have a single mid-air collision of our assets. And we would have, I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating, sometimes 100 plus assets between manned aircraft, UAVs, of all kinds up in the sky at any one time. So I will also say that the way that we did our control is different than the way the FAA does. In the United States, the FAA owns the sky. Even if we are doing a military training mission, the FAA and ATC can override anything we're doing, and we must adhere to FAA rules. With the exception of a few places, there's a 20 by 30 nautical mile rectangle in the middle of the Nevada desert over a special area that the FAA can't do anything with. There's a place on a chart that is only identified by the words device assembly building. The FAA has no authority in that airspace. There's some areas that are military only, but in general, the FAA rules the skies, even during military training missions, with a few exceptions. In combat, it flips. The Military Tactical Control Agency overrides everything because the mission comes first. So we've had to learn how to coordinate with ATC. For example, I owned a chunk of sky in Afghanistan that covered part of Kandahar. Well, that's a giant hub of logistics in and out. And if we had troops in contact, and I'm trying to talk close air support for troops in contact in the vicinity of Kandahar, and Kandahar ATC is trying to land a C-17 full of supplies, sorry, I take precedence. I'm trying to keep dudes alive on the ground. Anyway, so I'm trying to say there's two different things going on. And I know this is long and drawn out, but I'm trying to build credibility for what I'm about to say, but also tell you that I'm trying to be honest and open that there are things that ATC does that I can't speak on because it's different. ATC is entirely safety focused. That is their whole goal. We could not accomplish the mission if we had to do all of the safety measures that ATC does. Our mission involves putting assets close together and close to targets. ATC's job is to keep them apart. So anyway, so I tell you that to let you know that I have a lot of experience deconflicting aircraft from each other, directing aircraft, and I've been there when there was a possibility. I've had it happen when I've had to talk to two different aircraft that got too close to each other and sort that out. Now, I can tell you for a fact that the head of the FAA, the director of the FAA, stepped down on January 20th. This event happened on January 29th. There is no way in hell that the entire operational system of the FAA fell apart in 9 days. And the fact is, and this is the director of the FAA has nothing to do with the individual controllers in the seat. He has people that has people that has people that has people that sets those policy and procedures. I will guarantee you that the head of the FAA has never once set foot on the floor of that tower to see what goes on or talk to those controllers. So him, Elon Musk, whatever he wanted, has nothing to do with this. A hiring freeze for federal government employees. Do you really think that in 9 days, the manpower situation got so out of control that somebody was so overworked? Do you think they were really going to hire like the manning in those 9 days was the cause of this thing? No, that's ridiculous. And I will tell you for a fact that the strategic policies set by the director of the FAA has absolutely nothing to do with the safety procedures executed at the ground level by air traffic controllers. That's ridiculous. DEI procedure, initiatives has nothing to do with this. Because when you're in that seat, it doesn't matter. Even if you did get that job based on some DEI initiative, you cannot survive if you were incompetent. You would have put two planes together before that. You would have had midair collisions or midair, near misses. And if you get more than one within a certain time frame, you're done. You're out. Not to mention the fact that people crack. It's too stressful for somebody that's incompetent. There's no way that a DEI issue caused this to happen. I don't even know how Obama and Biden could come into this because, again, what happens at the executive level has no effect on the operational level. It doesn't matter. That is not what caused this. Absolutely not. Now, having listened to the tape and watching the radar, and what happened is, and this is a fact, we had a VH-60, which is a VIP transport helicopter. They were on a night training mission, which was actually a crew evaluation, which is very important. Every so often, every air crew is evaluated on their ability to perform their mission or a specific mission set. If they do not pass that eval, they can't, done. They have to go back to training. The mission they were practicing was called continuity of government, which nuclear attack or disaster, they have to get whoever's in charge out of Dodge and bring them to a secure location. There are certain procedures that take place. That helicopter does not broadcast who it is or who's on board. The VH-60 does not have an air intercept radar like a fighter or a big aircraft, so they can't see what's going on. So all they're going to do is check up with the tower to say, hey, is there anybody in my way? They're not going to say where they're coming from or where they're going to, because that's secure information. They're going to practice this mission as if it is the real thing because they're being evaluated on it. Maybe we can discuss the factors of like, is this really the right time and the right place and the right airspace to practice this? I don't know. But that's what happened. That's what they were doing. In the military, we can do very, very directive control. I have not heard air traffic controllers do control like that. And if you listen to the tape, the air traffic controller said, do you see that CJR? And the helicopter said, yeah. But do we know that that helicopter saw the airplane that that controller was talking about? At night, you see lights, and it could be anything. In the military, we are very, for example, a call that I would have made is Pat 25, traffic, bra, bearing range, altitude and aspect, 17510 4000, track northwest, which tells them everything that's going. And then I give a pause, civilian traffic inbound to Reagan International. Confirm visual. I've told him exactly where that aircraft is, what it's doing, where to find it, so that he knows that's what he's looking for, not anything else. When it got too close, the air traffic controller told him, pass behind the CJR. We don't even, and again, I'm not faulting this guy at all. I don't know how ATC does his job, but in the military, I would have been directive. It's called close control. Pat 25 snap 090. That means immediately turn your aircraft to a heading of 090 because he was heading south. That means go east. And then I would have said a pause, so he does that. Pull it back, which means slow the fuck down. Civilian traffic south 5. So I'm telling him immediately, and this is what we can do in the military. Turn your aircraft right now, I'm telling you, I'm not asking, to this heading. You have something that is an immediate threat 5 miles away. This is what it is. Slow down. And then I would follow up with confirm visual civilian CJR. I don't know if this helicopter crew was as familiar with civilian ATC comm as they would be with military comm. I'm not judging anybody. I was not there. That is not my actual job. I can tell you that I could not do the job that they do. And people might want to blame this controller, but you know what? This was a 0.001% event. Every single day, over 100,000 aircraft transit and land safely. This was 1 out of 100,000. And we're not going to know what the real cause was until the entire investigation is done. And that's going to take possibly years. So I'm just weighing in on I'm telling you what it was not, because I am not qualified to tell you what it was. I can talk to you a little bit about it because I used to sit in that seat, in a seat like it, and I used to do control. And I can tell you that, I don't know, maybe it was a difference between military crew and I can only speculate. But I can tell you that all these weird conspiracy theories, that's not what happened. So anyway, I've been asked. There it is. You can take it for what it is. If you don't like hearing it, I'm sorry. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. If you have comments, if you disagree, whatever, feel free. But thanks for spending some time with me. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll be back again real soon.